Good morning. It is Saturday. It's the weekend, and it's the 7th of March, and our reading is from Matthew 16:26. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? We've talked about this week what people worship or where people will turn to help other than the Lord, other than worshiping him in grace and truth. And this reinforces all of that by saying, even if you do succeed in the world's view of success, even if you are wealthy, even if you do all of this and you've done it and not turned to God or turned away from God, what have you gained? I always remember his account of the individual who has such a good crop that he builds a second barn for his crop, and then the Lord calls him home before he even gets a chance to use it. There's nothing wrong with preparing for the future to do economically well if the Lord puts you in a place to do it. But that's to be a secondary issue, sort of thinking about back here in a responsible way, but with a primary focus on being who God's called us to be. Because we can be the most successful person in the world by the world standards of success, a great politician, or a great inventor, or the world's wealthiest man. But if we don't have Christ, none of that is worth anything. Now, none of us are in danger of becoming those individuals. But what we do need to do is sit down and look at what are our real priorities. Are it first and foremost being who God's called us to be, to care for those things he's called us to care for. That means responsibility to a spouse, responsibilities to children, responsibility to a community of believers. And if I'm doing that where God has placed us isn't going to make us successful by the world's terms, it doesn't matter because it makes us successful by God's definition. And that's the only definition that matters. So, as we're in the weekend, and some of us are still working, but others, maybe take a little bit of time to look at how you prioritize things and whether it's first and foremost being who God's called you to be, or have somewhere along the line you kind of slipped in maybe just a little bit into the world's definitions of success or into somebody else's putting that on you. In any case, just be open to the Spirit speaking to you. And then I'll see you tomorrow, Sunday, the Lord's Day.